find out. I believe Abel has that Samira in his back pocket. The Lucian Nami is just going to go over to WE as a response in his 1 and 2. But a lot of junglers available for both teams, and Biosig is locked in here.
A little bit of setup potential for Heng and the rest of Team WE. I think the reliance on the Zeri and the Lucian, I was hoping for some spice, all right? I'm not going to lie, Kitty, but we're not going to get it. They know what's working for them. They will also grab the Ryze and the Yuumi, so there's a lot of power potential in the limited parts of the game for OMG right now.
A lot of scaling for OMG as well. Yuumi getting locked in alongside that Zeri, but of course going to get responded with the Lucian. Now bot lanes and the mid lane have come out, so W is just going to look to ban out those jungle pool like the Sejuani and something else that could pair well with the Ryze. Top lane is a bit of a question mark right now. Shanji has always been that wild card for the team. He has picked out very random champions like the Lilia and Shyvana back in 2022, and I'm a bit worried for Biubiu.
Bring it back.
Don't bring it back.
Please, come on. All right, fine. We go for rationality here, I guess. The Zeri also banned here in the second phase as pairing up with that Sejuani ban. I know we were mentioning before when we were getting prepped for this, obviously a Zeri coming up in priority, but banned here to make sure that's not available to go into the Ryze for Creme.
Yeah, Azir is a really good ban here. Creme does not want to be playing against this champion because Azir just provides so much scaling and range compared to this Ryze, where he will get out-pushed during the laning phase. And from what I've seen of Oh My God, they love playing towards their bot lane, or at least PP God will rotate with Aki around the map. So this is a really good ban coming out of Oh My God. I'm assuming they're just going to keep banning out bad matchups for the Ryze, but double jungle bans coming out of WE. Top lane. A bit of a question mark. So many champions available. Ksante is still on the line.
It's gotta be, right? That's gotta be in the eyes of one of these teams. There's still ways just making it all the way through. We do have, as well as that Azir ban, the Talia ban joining the OMG ban table. So interesting choices to take away from that matchup. There's the Ksante locked in for Team WE.
Ksante, of course, getting naturally locked in for a blind, but oh my God, replies with a Poppy. I love this Poppy pick because it just provides so much, I believe, denial into WE's team comp. We have the Vi, we have the Lucian. Ksante also has that jumping ability where this Poppy is just going to have so much presence in these teams. Is that an Udyr top lane that I see?
That is! Let's go! Hey, I asked if you were ready to go. I asked if you had your seatbelt on. Chat, I didn't ask you, but I hope you had yours on as well. We do get the Udyr here locked in for OMG. We get the Cassiopeia for WE. Honestly, really good answer here in the long term for Team WE.
All right, look. I'm gonna let Shanji cook in that top lane. We have not seen an Udyr top ever in the LPL. I don't think I've seen an Udyr top, or just Udyr in general for patch 13.1. So this is going to be super exciting. I do know that Udyr will receive some buffs in the later patch, but I don't know how the top lane is going to play out. It is our first time seeing this matchup. But of course, looking at both teams, we have the Lucian Nami versus Zeri Yuumi once again. But WE playing towards hope with that Lucian. Very aggressive overall team comp for WE. We have a relatively good scaling with Ksante and Cassiopeia coming in, but will it be enough for the Ryze?
I guess we're going to find out. There's scaling on both sides as we dive headfirst into our first matchup of this Super Saturday. It's OMG versus Team WE. And we've already talked a little bit about it. We'll let Shanji cook up there as the audience themselves may be cooking with those gyos. The Udyr we'll come back to a little bit later on. Big focus right now is to what happens early on in this bot lane. Where do Heng and Aki focus on? And how long does it take for Creme and Shanks to get online? Now, when you looking at both sides respectively for the jungle, we've talked a little bit about Heng. Where would you like to see Aki play, and how aggressively into Heng would you like to see him play?
I mean, Poppy is a good answer into the Vi. You are able to just stop her from being as aggressive as she would have liked in other matchups. But this Udyr pick is such a question mark for me because he does provide that early, I believe, damage. But would you really play towards this Udyr before helping out the Zeri and the Yuumi when you know W is going to play towards that bot side?
Well, I guess we're about to have our answer here. As Phoenix forms start here.
What is happening?
For Shanji starting off this level 1 fight. They just wanted the chicky nuggies. They started this match hungry. They didn't get to have their early meal. Aki's just going to continually aggress this. And so is Shanji, who definitely winning that early trade there, but going back over to help Aki. This is so awkward here. And now you have the movement over from Shanks as well. Biubiu in a little bit of trouble here. He's popping Ghost. He is scared for his life right now. And here comes Aki on the other side, but he doesn't need him. Shanji has taken on the wings of the Phoenix and gets first blood.
Lord Shanji pops the Ghost and just runs Biubiu down in this top lane 1v1. I believe the Poppy was just zoning out by the entire time, but this Udyr just has so much damage in that early game with his Phoenix form. What is Aki trying to do here with this Raptor camp?
I love it. I love it. Creme's coming up too. He had the push. No way. Oh, Heng has to flash early. Creme goes for the prison.
Flash.
The level 2, one more auto. He canceled it.
No.
Aki in trouble now. The Fangs sink deep, and WE are back on the board as well.
So many summoner spells being burnt in 2 minutes of this game. It's complete chaos, Mazel. I did not expect
Crazy
this,
is our game, kitty. Crazy is our game.
Lord Shanji proves us wrong with this Udyr, already picks up the first blood. He did have the Doran's ring available, which does give him that extra bit of trading ability when it came to that 1v1. And of course, we just see a bit of aggressive play coming out of Hope in this ball lane. I believe the barrier already popped in this 2v2, so Abel's getting a bit scared.
It's definitely a little bit rough. You see the want to go a little bit aggressive there, but the burn of the summoner spell, definitely something to... for WE at least to pry at. Now Shanji has seemingly taken proxy control of this top side of the map, but I do want to talk about how WE work around this 1-kill Cassiopeia and continue to try to potentially put resources bouncing between this mid and bot lane.
I need to highlight that Heng he just hit level 2 at 3 minutes and 30 seconds into this game. He's received 1 Skeletal Crab, skipped both buffs, and he is having the worst time of his life. Top lane is getting proxied right now. This game is so crazy to begin with, but Poppy is just starting to control the game.
It is looking like that, at least having gone into mid lane as well for Aki, showing his face. He's actually playing really aggressive now because he does have the proxy farming Shanji up there now. He has wrapped around, has the Hex Flash. We spotted out there at the end, but actually just looking for another Scuttle Crab at least. And actually, Heng going towards the top side map will be able to regain some of the land that it feels like he lost earlier on.
We do have Lwandy coming in to hover Heng to protect him at his own red buff. This has been an absolute chaos for Heng, and only just picking up his first buff at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Really putting the vibe behind when she does want to make those early game plays around this Lucian. But what OMG has done in the early game, Heng is going to have a really tough time trying to find these angles, especially towards these carry lanes like the Lucian and the mid lane, where he's just so behind in levels compared to this Poppy.
Okay, that's the most difficult thing, is you definitely need setup. We said that's what you're looking for when you pick up this buy for Heng and for WE. It's going to be a lot more difficult to come by. It feels like now that Aki is really confident and comfortable pushing forward aggressively. And so is Hope feeling the rest of the team. The bubble barely dodged out of. Nicely done from Abel with the quick feet. We'll be able to get away from that one. Hopefully be able to defend this tower as well.
This Udyr versus Ksante lane, it just seems
don't
like
worry about
Shanji
it,
is
kid. He's
taking
just
over
doing
the
his
lane.
thing, all right? He's cooking. He's got his pot. He's cooking.
My kitchen's on fire. I think Shanji's doing something to the kitchen.
I think Biubiu might be on fire at this point. What's happening here? But it was very interesting to see that early response. Biubiu kind of testing the waters against Shanji, and now Shanji, again, just having this complete control around top lane makes OMG's job a lot easier to kind of respond to what WE want to play this matchup as, with this Cassiopeia, with this aggressive bot lane for Hope and Lwandy as well.
You can't even do too much as Heng, right? Because your entire top side was invaded. Udyr is constantly proxying the top lane, where you have no priority for Biubiu to come and bail you out. And the Vi is just gonna try and focus towards his bot side, but she's so behind. Might need to look for some dive angles because Hope has been playing extremely aggressive with pretty good trades.
Here comes Aki. We'll see. Hope going for it. Doesn't get the damage. The shot from the tower. Almost enough. The Ultra Shock laser gets blocked by Lwandy. Heng is here in the side just to defend against Aki, who might be here as well. Hope's got the health ticket now. Will not. It's just over. Health difference definitely there. Aki showing his face there. We'll back off Hope at least. Now Shanji at the top side. What the observers really want to see the proxy farm going, and I like it. All right.
I like it too, and something that isn't being shown is that this Udyr has already received 2 plates so far from his proxying, and with the Vi, he's going the Roa. This is absolutely insane.
Hey, I mean, the late game, I heard rumblings of like the mid lane Udyr with the Roa, but I guess, it works. It works in the solo lane. So Shanji definitely pulling this one out and working out so far for him. Got the Swifties just now complete. It's going to be a fast wild man. I don't know what you call him anymore. But I will say the tempo in terms of aggression for Aki has slowed a little bit. And I think that plays into WE's scaling nature as well as OMG's, right? I think both teams realize that they do have a late game to look forward to.
Look, although Aki did die as first blood towards the first, I believe, 3 minutes of the game, he did I guess met his goal of shutting down the Vi in that early game, where you haven't seen Vi make any plays around the map, and OMG prepared really well coming into this game, where they noticed WE only plays towards Lucian, and Biubiu has always been on this Ksante duty, or just weak side, due to his weak showing in the first 2 weeks. So Shanji with this Udyr, he's just doing whatever he likes. He's already up, I believe, 20 CS2 plates. An absolute monster.
And it just feels bad for Heng, because there's really nothing, even if he's under that tier 2 tower, right? Like, it just feels like there's nothing you can do to respond to Shanji unless you can somehow lock him down long enough to get the damage off. It looks like Aki gonna go ahead and do this Rift Herald. Maybe a dive coming in bot side, but I think Abel realizes what's going on here. Gonna see Heng in the setup location. So Dragon not on the table right now. Looks like it will just be Rift Herald for now for OMG.
Abel's done a good job trying to survive this lane, especially when there's so much pressure
Creme's
coming
waiting.
out of WE's jungle. They smell the
I think he
vibe.
waited. I think he's been duped a little bit. Hung maybe looking for. Okay, it looks like they're actually backing off this one. It will be pinged onto the Dragon though, so at least W will get another objective, or a objective for themselves.
Abel had to drop 2 waves when I believe he was getting threatened with that dive. Poppy picked up the Herald though as a response, which is really worth, because I do want to see this Herald being dropped towards the Udyr just to get him more ahead into the game. I just want to see what this Udyr pick really offers when it comes to the team comp of OMG, because you already have 2 solo AP carries, right? Udyr is going the Roa, and he's gonna spike extra early when he does hit that 10 stack spike. So I just can't imagine how this game will play out, especially with Udyr being this ahead already.
Yeah, it definitely is a hard task for Biubiu here, but he is the Ksante. Ksante does Ksante things later on. We'll see if he can get to that point, as well as, again, back to that scaling aspect for WE as a whole. Still want to see maybe some resources delve to Shanks a little bit more. This Cassiopeia will be very crucial in taking down Shanji, it feels like. And I also want to see that Roa start to come online, see where they kind of clash heads. We'll get the battle of the Roas here.
Battle of the Roas, indeed.
I'm pretty sure Creme is probably going to go it too, right? Like,
yeah. Definitely going to have at least 3 Roas. Is he going to go Seraphs though? That's the question. I'm not too sure.
Questions are on to Abel. Here he does get the lightning crash, getting very low, and he goes down. Traded back though. The kill going to PP God. Gotta love that ignite. So 2-2 on the board. We get a play in top side as Shanji, still proxying, has decided to do as you suggested. Get that Rift Herald charging into top side of the map. Does get the just not quite those 2 plates. Very, very close. He has the nicely used by Biubiu, the cancel, but now gotta be a little bit careful as Shanji pretty strong here, does get the plate gold there as well, and Shanji should just run away from this one.
Now my question is, you're putting so much resource into this Udyr top lane, but can he really outrun the Lucian and Cassiopeia when they create space between the ghosting Udyr. We get a replay of what happened bot lane. So Vi finally decided to gank at this time into the game, lands an ultimate on the Zeri, and she's pretty much dead. Even with the flash available, it was just looking very doomed. But that ignite just got Vi at the very end.
That was so much health.
Yeah,
it was the prowling projectile that hit.
I don't think anything hit. It was just pure tower damage.
Oh, it was the yeah.
This is why Riot nerfed Yuumi.
Hey, you know, is it enough? Is it enough? That's always the question. Is it enough? But hey, I guess we'll have that answer. Rowan now completed for Shanji, so the stacking starts. Shanks versus Shanji at this point because Creme is a little bit behind on his. But it looks like we should get a lot of vision set up for OMG around this mid lane. So I want to talk next steps for OMG and how they utilize this Shanji top now that things are starting to break open a little bit. Maybe we don't get to ask that as Heng, half his health taken out from a walk into a bush.
It just seems like W has complete control over this bot side, right? The Nami and the Vi are just holding hands, entering into this bot side jungle where they're able to put down so much vision. And that just stops Creme from playing towards the Zeri so much more, especially with the ultimate available. But Abel still having that flash available, he can survive the next dive if it ever does happen. But this Lucian, 3 plates up, 4 even.
It's feeling really good for Hope, who obviously storied player in his own right, having a long developmental story, but after having gotten a big spotlight last year on JDG, coming away the summer champion as well. A lot of expectations, as we've already stated, for Hope on this new WE roster, and maybe able to put some of those expectations to work here as Abel takes a good chunk of damage there, Kitty, from the culling.
I also do need to highlight that Imperial now, both mythics are coming out for the 2 supports. But I just think this Imperial Mana being available for this Lucian, although he hasn't hit his mythic just quite yet, it's just going to be so much damage for Abel to soak up in that ball lane, especially when Hope has been an absolute menace.
It's the first item Deadman's played for Aki. You know, it's been a while since I've seen that. I think I saw it last year when Poppy was really popular. Well, but Aki getting a little bit of that speed to move around the map, maybe be a little bit more proactive in that case, right? As we are getting those first item completions, we have the Gale Force now for Hope, unlocking that big damage combo that you were just highlighting with the duo of the Lucian Nami. And I think now, especially with another dragon coming online, WE prime position to go 2-0 up in terms of stacking for a late game objective.
Yeah, especially with the vision already being set up prior before this dragon's gonna spawn. But with Lucian pressuring to take down this bot lane tower and how they already have the mythics available for WE in that bot lane, this Ryze being mid lane is going to be extremely dangerous because we just know Lucian's gonna 100-0 you, right? So how is OMG gonna really outplay this when Lucian is online already?
Well, it looks like Aki will not be willing to go for any crazy plays there, just giving over that second dragon to WE. Tower falls in top side. All out comes from Biubiu. Here comes the engage. Cease and desist has been found onto Aki, but the final chapter is big. The TP behind. Looks like Biubiu could not stop Shanji. Creme almost dead. There's the keeper's verdict. Now Lwandy lands a nice little bubble there, and Shanji, having utilized that TP, Heng has the flash. Abel almost finds him. But it is a bit of chaos all over the map this entire game so far. Aki's still going for it.
I'm so confused. We literally just saw Shanji and I believe Biubiu doing a 1v1 in the top lane, and the camera pans to the Vi ulting someone towards his bot lane dragon pit. What's happening? Not too close just quite yet. But how did Udyr manage to get his full TP out to flank WE when you had the Ksante Q3 available? I need to watch the replay of how this happened, but in the end, OMG didn't get anything out of the TP from the Udyr. But yeah, WE is still definitely in the winning position where their macro is on point this game.
I'm really liking the willingness, though, to see that from OMG, right? To send Shanji into a team fight. That is where their heads are at, obviously, right? They were willing to pull the trigger like that on that play. So they definitely want to bring Shanji with this advantage from top lane into these fights somehow with the TP plays, but obviously not working out that time around. We'll have to revisit it in a little while, and until then, it's on WE's side to continue stacking up, maybe even go for this Rift Herald that is already started by Aki.
We do see the supports rotating to this Herald, but back to my first question is that all your resources have been going towards this Udyr that does have the Randuins available as a second item now. Absolute Giga Chad build, by the way.
I can't believe he's already on the second item as well. That's insane. We got the engage here, though. A little bit of damage with the final chapter. Cease and desist onto the main target. Enable. He's out of there, but so is OMG as WE have come down with a 2-kill spree, maybe even a 3. That will be Creme falling to Biubiu. Hope goes forward. Tries to get Abel. Can't do it as Biubiu's right behind him. And WE have stamped their name on this game already after seemingly going through chaos to do it.
This Udyr top lane has finally been shut down in a team fight, but of course, when you just compare the pure 5v5 potential of an Udyr compared to the Ksante, it's just not offering as much of an engage and frontline, right? But I do need to highlight that Shanks played that team fight extremely well. I think he landed a 4 or 5-man ultimate potentially that really just won them that Herald. And let's take a look at the replay just so how does Cassiopeia play this entire, because we have OMG being in this choke point and he landed a 4-man ultimate on the Cassiopeia, and everyone just playing towards this choke where the Lucian was able to just ultimate down this lane and no one could really create space with your front lines being dead already at the start of the fight.
Yeah, honestly, that petrifying gaze stopping OMG in their tracks, and beautiful use of a pick that we kind of knew was going to be extremely crucial into this match. I think it was a perfect answer into the way that OMG were picking, especially with the Udyr, and it just sets you up for that long-term game for WE. Shanks will be the primary carry, feels like, for WE in this one right now, and Hope as well going to have a lot of say in the damage profile going forward and the catch-out potential. But I still want to see Shanji unlocked on this Udyr somehow, find the advantage that OMG wanted with this pick.
You're sipping some hard copium, Mazel, because
it's always copium for me, or hopium, one of the two.
Now that the Udyr has been shut down once in this team fight, I already see how these fights are going to play out. I think this Udyr is only going to provide side lane threat where Biubiu can't really handle him, as he has too much wave clear and just too much damage from the Roa. But if we ever go back to a 5v5 scenario once again...
Creme with the little stop motion there, gets a lockdown for the cease and desist, and here comes Shanks. The realm warp out. Oh, he gets out of there, baby. Oh, Abel almost down as well. Final chapter had been used. He jumped over the wall. Here comes the 1v1 between the junglers. Very close on 2 different occasions, back to back for OMG.
Everyone's just living on 1 slither of health on OMG, like the Ryze living on absolute 1, because Cassie wasn't able to land her ultimate. Unfortunate.
Hey,
Herald's been popped away.
Say bye-bye to Shelly.
It's not gonna really matter too much because you already have your bot lane being poked out prior and getting caught in the jungle. No one's really protecting this mid.
Creme! Wait, who did that? It was Shanji! No! It was Shanji! Sag. Alright, well, we get to see a little bit of that picture-in-picture what happened to Abel. Shanji no longer has DP because he wanted to save mid lane as the turret was falling. And now Dragon number 3 to WE. And they are stacking on through here, Kitty. And I think that's something that will be difficult for OMG to come back. Even if they have the scaling, the resources delved out right now for WE are getting up there.
I mean, even with the horrible start that Heng had to this game, right, with Poppy and Udyr being an absolute menace at the start of the game for this red buff, WE managed to salvage the entire game because Hope is just able to bring the entire team back into the game, and I just think the team comp is a much better, it's just overall better when it comes to a 5v5 sense.
We'll see Creme trying to catch somebody out in transition here. They're really trying to get Hope, but they can't find it. It feels like a little bit of want left on the table for OMG as they really just trying to get an upper hand here without really anything to focus on. I mean, you have Baron on the table, but that's not going to be a forethought right now. Creme going back to deal with the side lane as well. I think OMG struggling to find what's next for them, But time is going to come when WE can focus down some of these objectives with this comp, especially the Baron as Shanks gets stronger.
Most definitely. You can see that OMG is getting really desperate to look for some picks, but when you have the Udyr available with the Ryze, it's just the overall team comp, there's not much engage other than the Poppy. But even for the Poppy, you need to find those perfect angles, which can't happen here. Just a little bit of a joke. Playing with my feelings, actually I'm very sad. But now that he doesn't have the flash available, it's just going to make things 10 times harder to get someone caught out on WE.
You could see that Heng was there just inside, in case, on the side. Ready to go just if things kind of went a little bit south for Hope and Lwandy. Trying to now play the aggressive part as Aki's going to walk up into the trio, but nothing going to happen of it. They both back off, realizing that Shanji, the menace from the top lane, was ready to go as well. But it's interesting to see OMG kind of try to fight back against this aggression from WE as a whole, but 3 minutes still dragging. What do you want to see OMG accomplish until that time?
I really want to see at least a pick before the dragon fight, because you do have the Hex Flash available on the Poppy. Although not too much engaged, we do have the Realm Warp coming from Ryze where you can play towards the side lane, especially when Shanji is so strong compared to the Ksante where he is able to win that 1v1. I would like to see the Ryze play towards this weak point of WE where they get to pick off Biubiu potentially, or at least burn something, right? And then rotate towards this dragon that is happening in 2 minutes.
Game plan for OMG pretty set in stone in that fashion, as well as now having the Roas all online, all 3 of them, Kitty. But especially second item completions, right? You got the Runans now for Abel and waiting on kind of getting that 3rd item spike for the Zeri. But I think for this next fight, it'll be crucial. You definitely don't want to give over a Kim Dragon's soul, but at this point it would just be delaying, and I think that's still something OMG can look for.
I mean, like I keep mentioning, the Poppy being the only engaged tool for OMG, but if we look at the items, Lwandy already has a KO.
Oh my god. A little bit of damage there going on OMG. They have caught out Aki, who goes right back in. Realm Warp on the backline from Creme. This is huge. Shanji's going for it. He's tanking up a storm. The bubble from Lwandy was actually so clutch as Hope gets taken down, ran down by Shanji. We try to get Hung as well, but he has the improved blast cone there. So response at OMG come back to life. They're actually pinging onto the Baron now. Shakes on the side, though. Got to be a little bit careful, as those fangs do hurt.
That's the pick that OMG was looking for. Hope falls down, burning a lot of summoners from WE. They're able to look at this Baron and force something before this 4th dragon spawns. But with the Cassio having ult available, will they really be able to finish this without turning?
Aki has the Keeper's Verdict. Gonna wind it up now. That's the Petrifying Gaze down. Actually, both teams coming away, licking their wounds again. And it will not be a Baron this time around for OMG. WE Biubiu back into the fold, and Dragon coming up in 35 seconds, Kitty.
I think that was OMG's angle to win. I think the Baron, that was realistically the only time they could ever get a Baron. Now with Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, where you already used all your resources to make that pick happen onto Hope, but you weren't able to get anything out of it. And now you're being threatened for Dragon Soul. It's just looking so tough for oh my god.
You will not have the Petrifying Gaze. You won't have the Realm Warp. It's like other tools are going to be available here. We'll see OMG trying to get this priority in mid lane, but setup for WE is definitely in the jungle and getting vision down. So make sure OMG can't easily walk in. Aki on the side does have Keeper's Verdict. He lands a clutch one to make a big difference here, Kitty.
Seeing the teams trying to get mid-pyre before this dragon spawns. And WE comes out on top with the Cassio being able to clear this.
Oh, Aki found Shanks. The flash from Shanks was actually big. Hope, tidal wave on the side. Keeper's Verdict does connect. You just can't find the engage afterwards. That was a twofer, but now OMG have Prio in front of the Dragon Pit, but this is a front to back into a very difficult choke point. for WE to fight through. Looks like they're separating a little bit, try to get priority in mid lane, but it looks like Shanji wants to go for the engage. Hope is still there. PM will put them damage. All out comes out from Biubiu. It's back and forth. Cease and desist on Shanji. They can't get him. He's too tanky. He's too big. The Ultra Shock laser comes through, but they can't get the damage to follow. And Creme on the side delays WE's back. OMG now feeling confident to move forward. Maybe even put Shanji in the driver's seat here with PP got on him. It won't be the dragon that's focused. It'll be mid tower.
They used so many ultimates onto Shanji, but he was just not dying throughout that entire team fight, especially with the Yuumi attached. He was just surviving on this slither of health.
Oh, they caught Shanks. Petrifying gaze. They get one back though. Shanji stopped in his tracks. See if WE want to actually continue the engage. Heng on the side does not have cease and desist, does not have an engage potential. Creme, the prison there does delay it as well. Dragon now rightfully in WE's favor if they want to go for it, and they're pinging onto it already.
Finally, the Udyr, the final raid boss, has fallen throughout all that team fighting. And with the Udyr being down, I don't think Poppy is strong enough or tanky enough to really contest this 4th dragon. They can either just trade for a tower, but I just don't think it's worth it.
It's already down to 4,000. OMG realized what happened. Dragon Soul to WE. The stacking game has worked out from them from the first. Now calling into Abel. Abel needs to get over the wall. Does just that. A little bit of damage on his way out, but should be WE now moving towards this Baron pit to secure vision around it at least, but maybe just actually get those back. I was gonna say maybe a little bit of vision need to be taken out there just to make sure the setup is around.
Now that W has gotten the Dragon Soul and gotten the, I believe, vision control over this Baron, it's going to be so hard for OMG to even face check it. Because you are playing into a Vi and Cassio, and the second you see them in a bush, you're pretty much gone, right? Unless you're the Udyr that can live through 5 ultimates from WE. If you're anyone else,
got the Force of Nation out too.
You're going to die.
That's really rough. That's going to be a very tanky bear man. I guess he's not a bear anymore. He's a bunch of different other animals. I remember when he was a bear. Yeah, true. And now we see actually WE playing pretty aggressively into the blue side jungle of OMG, and they are the ones now hunting for these picks and hunting for somebody caught in transition themselves.
Look at the vision control that they just have in this topside jungle. Although they do have the Scuttle Crab available just for a few more seconds to make sure that they're not on Baron, but these team fights are looking so hard if you don't get a prior pick onto one of the carries of WE.
Shanji and Hope playing at breath's length. Aki's on the side, ready to get a counter engage. Hope takes a decent chunk after that. And now, with that miasma, Shanks really setting up the damage profile there. And it means that with these differences in health bars, maybe just the advantage that WE want to have. Creme a little bit lower than you'd want. They are stacking as 5 here, Kitty. Just trying to wait for somebody to get caught out there. Aki gets the culling used on him. Shanji taking a decent amount of that, but it is really just WE fishing.
Yeah, Shanks even has the Ryze available for his 3rd item. So champions like the Zeri, like the Udyr, they just can't run forward or run at the enemy team without getting slowed, and that's their whole point, right? You have the Ghost available, but this Cassio is just so strong ever since that Herald fight.
All right, they're just baiting out. They were trying to start it, and actually Hope playing pretty aggressive in the lane to try to bait it out as well.
WE is just doing a lot of Baron dancing with this vision toggle,
because they take it so fast with these two. I mean, Shanks does so much damage to it. They'll find it out though here. Azaki. Oh, Realm Warp coming in just for that vision. Heng wanted to get the catch up, and now WE are all inning on this Baron. You got to be careful though. Biubiu's caught. Maybe a little bit too much.
Has to contest.
Shanji's going to the pin here. Here comes Aki. Out goes the Vi, and the Baron taken by Aki. OMG with the final chapter over the wall. Abel survives. What? The genius AD carry for OMG, and the steal from Aki make it a different day for oh my god.
They just completely flipped the game with the Ryze coming online, and now that Zeri is able to pick up her Navori Blaze, this is looking so good all of a sudden for OMG. Let's take a look at the replay. So we have two people being occupied by Biubiu, but Aki, he just ults away one of the main carries of WE, and he just goes in and smites this Baron away. I don't think WE needed to burger flip the Baron, honestly. Vi was just so far away because of the Poppy ult, and just the entire team fight just became a winning situation.
The fact that Abel survives, like what? He was mid-blast code with like 50 health going over the Baron pit. Oh my god.
WE could have realistically just turned the fight. You have the Cassio, you have the Vi, so many ultimates available to engage, right? But they just decided to finish the Baron and Poppy ulting away the Vi. Well, you don't have a smite anymore, and Poppy just comes in for the seal.
And now we have to look at what comes next, because we do have third item completions pretty much across the board. We're waiting on 2 rods to make a hat for Creme, but besides that, the carries are starting to come online. You had a third item of Navori's played for Abel instead of that IE, and we did have, you know, the Lord Doms plus the rapid fire cannon there for Hope. Mid lane though, Shanji's just still on his high horse. Or High Boar, High Phoenix, I don't know, one of the two.
Is Udyr top really gonna win?
It's looking like it, Kitty. It's looking like it. We do have the push at bot side. Another tower falls in favor of OMG, and the setup continues.
So the amount of siege that you have available with this Baron, Biubiu is not even at base. Udyr is becoming a menace once again with those Baron minions threatening the mid lane tower while we have a 1-4 situation going on. W really needs to force a 5v5 while Udyr isn't around.
Doing so much. Heng goes in. He has gotten onto the back line. The Petrified Gaze does not connect on what you want, but they're clumped up with the final chapter going on top of him. Biubiu's in trouble now as well. It's AoE, but he left out by himself. Creme! He's trying to go ham, but he might have got 2 ham, the double bubble, but the damage is enough, and Hope is in trouble as Unkill goes back over to WE, but it might just be enough lasting damage for OMG to take the game.
I believe it's a 5 or 10k gold flip from just the Baron flip, and they're able to just win every team from then on. The Cassiopeia.
They're just going on Shanks. Hung in some trouble now. Shanji is just unkillable. Keeper verdict's back in. He's still tanking it up, taking a lot of damage from Shanks, but that means that Abel has free time to fire. They still have 3 cannons, and Shanks was taking them to the face. Baron now down. Bubble connects Shanji into Miasma. Might be in some trouble from the tower shot. The steadfast presence was so clutch right there from Aki. I don't know if they can do this defense here. It's looking like an inevitable OMG win. They do lose primary carry Shanji as the front line, and Biubiu being back, Hope being back means the defense is alive for WE.
Elder Dragon is going to be available for the side of Oh My God, and they took down 1 inhibitor, but they don't have their top lane available for 30 seconds. So if WE wants to force something, they have to play towards this time frame because it's a 4v5.
They're trying to get here and set up. They had a little bit of vision. The Scuttle Crab also taken. Bloodthirst, their 4th item completed for Abel. Survivability has taken priority here as we've gone to 34 minutes. It is the name of the game right now. Who is going to scale harder? And we're starting to see those come online, Kitty.
They didn't take that angle. They did not go for the Elder Dragon because their base is just feeling so vulnerable at the moment. But with Oh My God having complete map control and vision control around this dragon, they can realistically just get this without WE interfering, but they have to.
Shanji has TP to the fight. See WE try to group up yet again. A back coming through from Hope must mean he has his 4th item ready to go. We'll be backing, getting that completed. No fight over the dragon just yet. Key targets for WE are to pretty much make Shanks and Hope survive, hit a big petrifying gaze, I would say, right, Kitty?
We don't have the flash available on the Cassiopeia. It's looking very tough. I mean, even for the Vi, right? She is so behind in this state of the game. Oh, they're gonna go for the back door!
They're going for it. They're going for the game win? They don't have any minions. They're TPing back to everybody's backing. They're trying to get caught out here, stopping the backs, but it's not enough. They're onto the Nexus, and OMG, the plan is alive and well, and they take out the Nexus for game number 1. What a dupe!
What a start today, game one. Oh my lord, oh my god, I'm literally just shocked with how well they decided to close that game out. Of course, WE decided to do the Baron as a flip, and absolute chaos ensued after that point into the game. But congratulations to Udyr top lane having a 100% win rate in the LPL, and I am going to expect this pick a lot more into Ksante in the future.
Is this where we thought we'd be, Kitty? Is this where we thought we'd be? Is this where we wanted to be when we came into today?
Well, you know, starting the day off with an Udyr top lane winning, and that, oh my god, was about 10k gold down, and they were able to flip the game completely around for game one. I am just prepared for anything now, Mazel.
I think that's the beauty of it. And I think as a whole, feels really good for OMG to find a way back in, right? Like that setup, the fact that Shanji was willing to just run straight through Biubiu and set up a beautiful keeper's verdict for Aki. The execution needed to be there, and it was. In just one fell swoop, the Baron goes down. Suddenly, two inhibs are down, and they have the confidence to make that TP play with the Realm Warp, knowing that that was game ending possibly. And the decisiveness for OMG, I think, is the biggest thing. And seeing that come through from this squad that is sticking with these main members again, and seeing them actually be cohesive and together is such a relieving sight.
He had a pretty silent game throughout the entire early to mid game, but once it got to the late game, this Poppy pick became so obnoxious for the enemy team. Although not highlighted in these teamfights, Vi, Lucian, and I believe someone else couldn't dash onto the carries. And even for the last teamfight, right, Vi just wanted to engage so badly because they were on a ticking time bomb when Elder was available, but he just wasn't able to do that, and the Poppy was able to just negotiate, not negotiate, but cancel everything out.
Indeed, and we see the tail of the tape as that gold difference, wouldn't want it any other way. That is a true LPL gold graph, and one that OMG are going to hold near and dear. What a comeback after losing Embry Dragon, a lot of early game objective control not going their way, even though they were controlling the map, it felt like, with Shanji proxying under tier 2 under Nexus towers, and I feel like that pressure ended up getting the better of WE.
Yeah, I mean, this Udyr pick was just an absolute menace in that top lane. Biubiu was just constantly being proxied, and I believe tower plates were also falling in the early game. Abel, however, he was able to live throughout the early game where there was so much pressure from the mid jungle of WE, which we have to give prop to, and then he ended up popping off in those teamfights once he had the Navori online alongside the Yuumi with him.
Yeah, I was interested in the Navori. I wonder if we continue to see that kind of be well, I guess more so the Zeri be a big priority here, because we said going into it, right? The Zeri, the Lucian has been really the picks for Abel. If they're put out, what does Abel do? So we'll see in game number 2, as we are going to step away for a little break.